This video is from my series that walks you through how to build a career in film and television production. All right, what are we striving for in the immediate term? In the immediate term, our goal is to get an entry-level job on which we can build a career. When I say entry-level, what I'm talking about are the jobs that are attainable, that are open, where you learn about an industry, about a particular vertical, and we go through a process to define your path and your vertical and help you identify the people, the jobs, and the companies that you want to work for and what you want to do. But it begins in an entry-level job. It begins as an assistant. It begins sitting on someone's desk. It begins with working for someone. The likelihood that you're going to come into this business and start directing big features is bull. The idea that you're going to come into this business as a writer and become a showrunner, sell a new idea, is never going to happen. It just doesn't happen. It has in the past very infrequently, and it's usually because somebody came at it from some festival circuit and Harvey and Bob Weinstein bought their big idea, or some executive somewhere else at another studio bought a big idea. But the truth is those people got surrounded by individuals who are professional, who are in the network, who are in the system, and understood how to deliver product to a very big corporate structure, meaning the studios and the financiers. I'll add one caveat to the statement I just made about not starting at the top. And that is for actors. It is possible for actors to work on big projects, on big shows, and become very famous very fast. It happens all the time. But even those actors start somewhere small. They start entry level. They rarely ever go from being obscure and unknown, having come out of some acting class or workshop or undergraduate degree, and making it either on a big feature, as in a lead role on a TV series, or in a lead role on stage. It just doesn't happen. They started somewhere in some entry-level job. As writer, director, actors, oftentimes we're not going to start in those jobs working in that profession. We're going to take some kind of entry-level job to help us build an understanding of how the industry works and how to network within it. So for example, a director, you might work as a set PA. Writer, you might work as a writing assistant or as an assistant to an agent or a manager who represents writers and directors. As an actor, you may be a stand-in or you may be an extra or something like that to make a living so that you can get networked and get people to know who you are. As an actor, you're also going to get connected to the casting directors. Just meeting every random producer in town isn't going to get you those entry-level jobs as an actor. It's never going to happen. Not never, but it's very uncommon to happen. The people who hire for those jobs, the hiring manager for actors, are casting directors. You can know directors, you can know producers, you can know writers, studio execs, whatever. It doesn't hurt. I'm not saying don't network with them, but the likelihood of you moving up from that cycle is pretty small. It's more common as an actor to get connected to casting directors. As crew and as a producer, those jobs also start out working as someone's assistant. You might be a PA in production and then figure out that you want to be working grip or electric. So you get connected to the grips and electrics on shows so that they can sponsor you and move you up into the next level. So the point here is we want to try to find an entry-level job in which to build a career. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be toiling for years, moving up, doing bullshit jobs for some person in power making shitty money forever. It's not how this business works. The business rewards people who work hard and who are smart and are relevant. Those people move up very quickly. If you're an assistant at one place for 18 months on a show for a season or two, or even an entire season, and you don't move up at some point, or you don't figure out whatever your interest is, you don't get networked, you probably might want to think about moving on. If you're relevant, you're staying connected, and you're networking, you're going to move out of the assistant job into the next level at some point sooner than 18 months. And by the way, just because you've been in this job for years or months or whatever, or you went to some big fucking school or whatever, doesn't mean it's your time to move up and that you deserve it. This is a business that rewards hard work. And just because you've been around for a long time doesn't mean you're going to get a fucking raise. You're going to get promoted. This is an entrepreneurial business. You will move up and you will move into the next job because you work hard and because you created it for yourself, not because someone said, oh gosh, he's been around or she's been around or they've been around for 2 years. We need to give him a raise. We need to give him more money, a new job, a new title. Just not going to happen. So in production, you will move up fast if you work hard and you show determination and some amount of brains. You don't have to be a suck-up or a brown-noser, but you do need to be respectful, relevant, and hardworking. If you're those 3 things, you will move up and you will move up fast. So a career in Hollywood starts in a job where you can show your sponsor what you're capable of. Okay, sponsor, what does that mean? Sponsor versus mentor. I'm talking about a person in your professional career who will sponsor you in the room when it comes time to make a decision about promoting someone and pulling someone up into the next job when an opening comes. So what does that mean? If you're a writer's assistant and an open writing position or an open writing slot becomes available, your sponsor will be the person in the room who's advocating for you to be the person to get that slot. And I use writer as an example because it's the easiest, but it's the same everywhere else. You need to be able to identify who your sponsors are and stay attached to those people like a barnacle. Eventually, you're going to want to widen your network so that you have more than just one sponsor. But in the beginning, you're looking for that person and identifying those people who can help you move up. It might be your boss. It could be someone above you who's not your boss, but in another department, on another show, whatever. They are people who recognize your skill and see your hard work and will pull you up into the next job. I'm not talking about a mentor. I'm not talking about that thing where you go hat in hand, you go, hey buddy, will you be my mentor? So many people, career coaches, folks talk about find a mentor. It's total fucking horseshit. You may have a mentor who you never identify or they never get identified as your mentor. You never have that conversation. It may just evolve over time, or they're a silent mentor where you see a particular behavior, a style, a language, a technique that you want to emulate, that you like, that you want to pick up. That person technically is your mentor, but you haven't said anything to them about, hey, bud, will you be my mentor? Never happened. So this isn't a mentor sponsorship kind of a business. You will find mentors, people you'll learn from, people you'll pick up techniques, language, and style from, but you're not going to have that like, oh gosh, will you be my mentor, where they're basically going to shepherd you up through the industry. You may be a personality who finds that. It does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't. It does exist. I've seen it happen. It is very uncommon. It is an anomaly. The truth is, you're building your own career. You're building your own business. And in that, you need to have your antenna out and be paying attention to the fact that there's a sponsor out there for you. And they're the people who will advocate for you when you get in the room. You don't have to tell them, hey man, you're my sponsor, bud. Will you be my sponsor? None of that. You just have to have your antenna out, realize who they are, and stay close to them and manage that relationship up. There's a phrase I heard many years ago about managing down is one thing when you have subordinates working under you, but also managing up. Managing up is just as important as managing down. We all hear about the managing down, like taking care of your people, making sure the work they're doing gets done so it gets turned in at a particular level and at a style and a level of completion that you're comfortable with, that your boss put you there for. But that's one thing. We hear about it all the time. But you also need to be able to manage up. And when you're managing up in an entry-level job, you're looking for someone who can help you advance your career. And that person will be your sponsor. So you want to make sure that the work you turn in and the relationship that you have and the conversations that you have are relevant, they're smart, and they help that person do their job, and you demonstrate that you can do their job. You obviously have to find a balance here, because if you can do their job, you may be perceived as a threat, and that's a danger. But you also want to demonstrate that you're capable, willing, and want to move up into the next job, so that when the open slot comes up for the writer, or the open slot for a director, or a piece of material is available for a producer, or a job, or a producing job on a show, when one of those comes open, your sponsor can say, hey, we should promote, and they would insert your name in that slot for that open position. That is your goal. That is your primary focus in what you're doing right now to advance your career to the next level after getting the entry-level job. So important. Think in those terms. It's not just getting that job, it's getting that job, managing up, and identifying your sponsor and keeping them in your network. That's the other thing. Keep your sponsor in your network as you excel and as you move up. The likelihood is they will move up with you, ahead of you, and they're always going to be pulling people up. There are some cases where you'll surpass a sponsor, and that's okay. And you may go back and work with those people. But at the end of the day, you're in an entry-level job looking for your sponsor, and you're looking for the person who can help advocate for you in the room when an open slot comes up.